Alright, hi everyone.
We're Lisa.
And Eric.
That's weird, we always do it the other way around.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Hi everyone.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Lisa.
And today we're going to talk about traveling to Germany for the first time.
Yeah. Which makes sense because, if you can tell, I'm German.
Lisa is in fact German.
Yeah.
And I'm Canadian, if you're just showing up for the first time and wondering who we are.
We've done a lot of city videos showing you around the cities, but we thought it would be fun to do like a sit-down video.
So here we are making one.
Yep.
Yep.
So we want to give you some tips and advice on what to keep in mind when you come to Germany for the first time. It's probably good to know that the capital of Germany is in fact Berlin. And then the second biggest city is?
Munich.
No.
Hamburg.
Yes.
Yes!
And then the third biggest city is in fact Munich.
Nailed it.
There is approximately 82 million people in Germany. So if you're coming from the US, it's quite a bit smaller. But if you're coming from Canada,
Quite a bit more people.
more people, but less country.
Probably helpful to know that the language spoken is in fact German.
But there are quite a few different dialects.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even difficult for me coming from more the southern part of Germany to understand people from other places.
Another thing that you should remember is that Germany does not equal Bavaria.
That's something I've heard quite a lot in North America especially. It's like, oh, so are you drinking beer all the time? Are you eating pretzels? And are you wearing a dirndl? I do all those things occasionally, but not every day. I do have a dirndl right here.
It's pretty.
I wear it on special occasions, but that's it.
Doesn't really help the argument of the stereotype, but that's fine.
I'm also from Bavaria, so it's fine, but not everybody does that. If you think that everybody acts like people at Oktoberfest, it's just not true.
And that's a big thing in North America, is that we've essentially essentialized German culture to be what is Oktoberfest and think that that's what happens all over the country of Germany. But it would be the same thing as saying, you know, everyone in the US wears cowboy boots and cowboy hats. And you'd say, well, no, that's people more in Texas. So something to think about when you're traveling.
Just a lot of stereotypes.
It's a lot of stereotypes.
Generally, Germans are not big fans of small talk.
Compared to
Yeah.
North Americans, particularly Canadians, we love small talk. Standing at the ATM, gonna talk to you. Standing in Tim Hortons line, we'll talk to you. Germany, not so much.
That's not to say that every German hates small talk, because of course every person is different. But overall, don't expect to like start a chat if you're standing in line somewhere. It's
well,
not anything against you. It's just we're not really used to small talk.
That's a good point to note. That's a good one.
Next topic, visas. And do you need them or not to enter Germany?
That is the question.
And it kind of depends a little bit on your passport.
Yes.
If you're traveling with a passport from Canada, Australia, the United States, for example, then you don't actually need a visa to enter Germany.
As a tourist.
As a tourist, you don't need it. You should be aware that you can only stay in Germany and other countries that are part of the Schengen zone, which is basically a zone that allows for free movement between like different countries for 90 days total, and then you have to leave basically. If you have another passport,
Check with the embassy for Germany or for the Schengen zone, to apply for the Schengen zone essentially, to see if you need a visa to enter. And if you do, you apply for a Schengen visa. And we'll actually link to the Schengen visa, like the government website, in the description for this video.
Yep.
Okay, so you are now in Germany, you've landed, you've gone through customs, you're on the ground. Where do you go? What do you do? Now we're gonna talk about getting around Germany.
Which is pretty
Awesome.
easy actually, because as we mentioned, the country is not that big, and the highways are great, and the public transport system is also pretty good. Germans like to complain about the train company, which is called Deutsche Bahn, which I have also done before, because sometimes it can be annoying if the train is delayed or if it's cancelled, but overall they're pretty good. So you can take the train all around the country. There's regional trains, there's intercity trains. One tip we have, if you go for longer distances with the train, try to book in advance, because it can get expensive if you just book the day off travel or the day a few days before. Obviously that's fine if you are pretty like
if you're winging it, because it'll save you quite a bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a North American, like it's nice even just having the option of regional trains to get around, because for home we typically rely on cars way more often. So being able to hop on a train, it makes it really easy to discover, which is cool. Another great tip about getting around when you're taking the trains is that you should download the DB app, the Deutsche Bahn app. It's really great because you can check on the fly with the timetables, what platform your train's gonna get in on, if there's any delays. It's a really, really good app for trip planning, and so download the DB app. It's cool.
But if you wanted to rent a car,
Of course, you can still rent
you can also rent a car, and if you want to drive on the Autobahn, which by the way, we should mention, is not just one road.
Yeah, this
crossing
is something
the
I didn't
country.
actually know until I came here.
Yes,
to
it's
Europe.
just, essentially, it's just a German word for highway.
It's not actually just one highway that you drive really fast on, like
No.
that goes through Germany.
It's just
It is in
out.
fact the system of highways in Germany.
And related to that,
If there's construction or if there's like a steep downhill that you should probably slow down on, they'll actually post a speed limit. Contrary to popular belief, you think you can just drive a buck 80 everywhere. That's not actually true. Oh, a buck 80 is 180 kilometers. That's really Canadian of me, sorry.
so just keep that in mind. Don't drive in the left lane.
The left lane is for passing, and then you get back over, and that's properly done in Germany. If you drive in the left lane for a long period of time in Germany.
People would not be happy, so just don't do it.
Okay, so next thing we're going to cover is currency. Say things differently. Yes, is currency, paying, and tipping. So pretty important, the currency used in Germany is the euro. It's also used in a few countries surrounding it. So if you're traveling around on a bigger Europe trip, it makes sense to take out some euro before you go, or to take out some from an ATM once you get here.
Lots of us still like to use cash. So yes, you can use the debit card when you go, like to the grocery store or restaurants. Credit card,
Don't expect credit card to be
Not
accepted.
all the time. Like obviously you can pay in a hotel or for your rental car or
In major city centers
Yeah.
and tourist shops, they're probably going to
For
accept a
sure.
credit card. But in smaller centers and smaller towns, there's a chance that they won't accept your plastic.
they
So
might accept debit card, but
Yeah.
sometimes credit card is not accepted. So either make sure you bring a debit card or just have cash on hand, especially when you go to like smaller cafes or like smaller bars.
cash and change.
Then another point related to that is tipping. Once again, if you're coming from the US or Canada and you're used to tipping like 15%,
15, 18, 20. We
Yeah.
tip a lot, typically.
yeah, don't have to tip that much in Germany. Yes, we do tip when you go to a restaurant or when you go to a cafe. Don't tip nearly as much. One good estimate, if you need one, is
10%.
10%, more or less. But even that, like, that's good. That's a good amount.
Yep.
Next point.
Charging things.
Yeah, because you're most likely gonna bring at least your phone, if not your camera, computer. If you're not prepared, you'll find out pretty quickly that you're...
Not going to be able to plug into the wall in Germany.
Because we use plugs that look like this.
You should put that closer. Get it close up.
If you're coming from other European countries, most of the time that shouldn't be a problem, except if you're maybe coming from the UK or Malta or anyway.
It's not the UK plug, the
Yeah.
really big, thick, three-pronged, rectangular-looking one.
But if you're coming from overseas, Canada, the US, Australia, we do realize there are lots of other countries.
But we're
that
covering this
also
from kind of a North
Yeah.
American perspective, just because this has more or less been my experience coming over here.
Exactly. Then you should bring an adapter.
Adapters comes in all shapes and sizes. Some of them have USB plugs on the side, so aside from being able to plug in your laptop, you can also charge your phone, GoPro, or other things that are charged via USB cord. So those are really handy to have, so you don't take up too many plugs on the wall.
Yeah, we can link one or two down below that you can go check out. They also have USB plugs. They're great, especially if you're staying in a hostel.
You can be the person who has the USB plug. You can be like, who needs power? And everyone plugs in their iPhones, and then you become
Yeah.
friends. That's how it works,
I have
right?
experience with that.
That's how it works. That's how you make friends.
The last point has to do with German history. So don't worry, we're not going to give you a rundown of the German history. But there's one small thing that we thought would be interesting to mention.
And that's the lingo that you use just in everyday life, specifically using the term Nazi. I know that in some circles you'd be like, oh, don't be such a Nazi. For someone who's being really anal or really picky about something, don't toss that around in Germany.
And some people might be offended.
It's just something to take out of your vocab while
Yeah,
you're
just-
traveling around Germany. And as a visitor to someone else's space, it's always important to be as respectful as you can. I mean, you're there visiting, you're taking in their culture and their perspective. The least you can do is respect and appreciate theirs as well.
That's true.
You know.
Anyway, so
that's it
those are our tips
for traveling to Germany.
for the first time, or any other
Or
time.
any other time, really.
Definitely,
Those are helpful tips for all time.
We actually wrote a blog post about that exact topic where we like talk about some of the things in a little bit more detail.
So let us know what you think. Any German you agree or disagree, let us know. Any other travelers heading to Germany, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask us. We're happy to help.
Let us know what you thought of our first sit-down video. We're always looking to improve them to be as helpful as possible, but it's a learning experience for us as well. So
And also let us know how your first trip to Germany goes.
hopefully see you soon.
As always,
Happy waddling. Cheers.
cheers.